Welcome back to Weird Stuff in a Can. Today I've got two cans for you, even though you can only see one here. But it's two of the same can. It's Oreo Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. So I picked up a can of this and reviewed it while we were away on holiday in Brixham just recently. And on the way home I felt like maybe I hadn't quite given it a fair shot. So what we're going to do first, anyway, is go off and look at that review, and then we'll come back here and we're going to do another tasting, but also we're going to compare it to the regular Coke Zero. So firstly, over to previous shrimp. Welcome back to Weird Stuff in a Can. Today I've got Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Limited Edition Oreo flavour. So you might have noticed a slight change in the background here. We are today in Brixham Harbour. We're here for a week. And this is the balcony of our little holiday cottage overlooking the fishing harbour at Brixham, and it's a fantastic location, really enjoying it. This is a can of limited edition Coca-Cola Oreo that I picked up on the way down here. Actually, we stopped in a little shop to get bread and milk just before we got here, and I saw this and I thought that sounds kind of weird. So this is cookie flavour sparkling low calorie soft drink with sweeteners. Ingredients: carbonated water, colour E150D, natural flavourings, acid, which is phosphoric acid, sweeteners, which is acesulfame K, aspartame, sucralose, haters enjoy, acidity regulator, sodium citrates, salt. Salt is an unusual ingredient. Caffeine, but not comma flavouring, caffeine flavouring. So caffeine as a flavouring, perhaps. Contains a source of phenylalanine. Right, well, there we go. It's Coke. It's Coke Zero Sugar, but it's some sort of collaboration, creations with Oreo. And yeah, so apparently it tastes of Oreo cookies, which is interesting because to me Oreo cookies don't really taste of an awful lot. Just my personal opinion. I don't think they're the best chocolate sandwich biscuit that exists. Let's pour this out anyway, and no real surprises there. I will leave a little bit in the can for reasons I'll explain in a moment, but let's have a sniff. Doesn't really smell any different from regular Coke, which is to say a little bit citrus, a little bit, tiny bit of spice. Tasting time. Yeah, okay. So it's got a slight vanilla flavour to it. It's got a yeah, there's a slight cocoa flavour, kind of subtle, and if I'm honest, a little bit disappointing. This is chilled, of course. Anyway, well, there we go. I suppose that does taste of Oreos because it doesn't really taste of much. So Coke Zero Oreo, 250ml. Scan here to enter bestie mode. Well, scan that if you wish. It's a weird idea, I think, having a biscuit flavoured fizzy drink, or cookie flavoured soda if you prefer. But the result is not actually all that weird. It's kind of nothing. I would say it's not quite as refreshing and tangy as regular Coke, if that's a thing. And it has got a sort of rounded, the flavour's got some kind of rounded edges, which I think comes from the sweetness of the cookies and the cocoa and the vanilla. But yeah, kind of fizzy cookie flavoured, no calories. Kind of a bit disappointed that the flavour's not more prominent, really, but there you go. I believe there was some kind of reciprocal collaboration where there were Coke flavoured Oreos, but that wouldn't be in a can, so it wouldn't be on this series. And I haven't seen those around anyway. Now, one thing people quite often say on this series is, why didn't you taste it straight out of the can? Because that's different. So, okay, I've left a bit in the can, so we can do that. And do you know what? That is different. Directly from the can like that, it just tastes like regular Coke. It tastes a bit more tangy, a little bit more acidic. From the can like that, the acidic is not so balanced by the sweetness. Yeah, from the glass, you can definitely taste the Oreos there. I suppose that's because your nose is going in there as well as your mouth. Whereas from a can, it's really only happening all of the stuff that goes up your nose has to go internally. So, limited edition Oreo Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Oreo Creations, no calories, fizzy cookie flavoured. Nutrition information is there if you want it. Basically, zero of nearly everything. So like I say, I might not have given that a fair shot. Also, I was tasting it in the open air. Crikey. This can won't even open. That's the first time I've seen that happen. This must be a faulty scoring on that part of the can. That just didn't depress that thing there. Okay, not going to try to open that with a conventional can opener. You can't open these rims with the can opener I've got. But what I have got is this. So I think we can probably open it with that. Yeah, made a bit of a mess, but there we are. Anyway, as I say, I'm not altogether sure I gave this a completely fair shot when we were in Brixham, because, well, for one thing, it was outdoors, so fresh air might have done something to my perception, but I didn't really enjoy it. I found that it kind of, almost like the Oreo and the Coca-Cola cancelled each other out in terms of flavour. Anyway, we're going to give it another try. So that's the Coke Zero Sugar with Oreo, and this is just regular Coke Zero. Both chilled to the same degree. Might be some difference in carbonation owing to the makeshift way I had to open that can. So, Coca-Cola Oreo Special Limited Edition. Yeah, I can smell the kind of vanilla-ish, cocoa-ish vibes in there. Actually, that does taste different. The chocolate and vanilla flavours, or the cocoa and vanilla flavours, are more on the back end of the taste. So there is a kind of tangy, acidic, citrusy start, and then the vanilla and Oreo flavours come in a little bit later than that. Yeah, okay. Still a little bit cloyingly sweet. So regular Coke Zero, I probably should use a palate cleanser here, but I'm not going to. Just a simpler flavour, and I find that more refreshing. Yeah. So, I mean, ingredients are the same apart from the flavourings that are the Oreo flavour. But I find that one, the regular Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, to be a cleaner and more refreshing flavour. I've got to say, I don't drink a lot of Coke anyway, so I'm probably not the best judge of this. Certainly tasting them alongside each other like this, I can get a better feel for what difference the Oreo flavour makes in this drink. So, whereas it was a little bit indistinct when I was tasting this on its own, tasting them in comparison does make it easier to kind of determine, to kind of subtract this flavour from that one and figure out what's additional. But yeah, I just think it's a bit too rounded, the flavour. It's a bit too cloyingly sweet. It's got a weird woolliness to it as well. I know that might seem a strange adjective to use in terms of a drink, but it is a bit like drinking it through felt or something, drinking it through a blanket. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, whereas that's just a much cleaner, more refreshing taste. So I suppose, here's the thing, if you were going for a refreshment, you probably wouldn't choose that. Maybe you wouldn't choose this. Maybe water might be a better choice to either of these. But, so I guess that's where we are. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. It's interesting to have tasted it. I'm not sure the combination really works, but perhaps, you know, if you really like Oreos and you really like Coke, maybe you'd like it. So I think we can just go back to previous shrimp for the conclusion now. So whilst I'm not a fan of this, I would say, I think that's okay. It's not necessary for everybody to like everything equally. I'm sure some people would actually love that, and perhaps people who like Oreos and really like Coke, neither thing's massively high on my list of preferences. Perhaps that would be exactly the combination that they would enjoy. I mean, I'm not going to say it's horrible. It's not horrible. It's all right. I'm not very excited about it. I was more excited about the concept than I am about the actual drink. But that's okay. It's okay for not everyone to like everything equally. And by way of illustration, if we look at the houses over there, just think how less interesting that would be, that view, if everybody had the same tastes. All those houses would be the same colour. and life would be a little bit less interesting. So that was weird stuff in 2 different of the same cans on Atomic Shrimp. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.